So do you want to know how Marriott Vacation Club has been responding to this whole COVID pandemic? Well, we're going to talk about it right after this. Hello and welcome. I'm Jeremy, and before we get started taking a look at Marriott's response to the COVID pandemic, I just want to let you know on this channel I like to share some of my best tips, strategies, and advice on how to help you get the most from your timeshare ownership. So if that sounds like what you're looking for, please be sure to subscribe down below, hit that notification bell also so you don't miss a single video. Got an ant on me. He just went flying. He's fine though, trust me. Okay, so we've actually just spent quite a number of weeks in a number of different Marriott timeshare properties around Florida. And you might be thinking, hey, it's Florida, right? But we just want to kind of talk about, we're not going to get into all that, we just want to kind of talk about Marriott Vacation Club's response and what they've been doing at and around the resorts to make your stay as comfortable and as safe as possible, and maybe some things that they could possibly even do a little bit better, in my opinion. And before we get too far into this, chances are YouTube is not going to publish and push this video out to a whole lot of people. So feel free to give this video a like. It does tell YouTube that, hey, that's a pretty good video. And be sure to share it as well. It's one of the best ways to get it out to the largest number of people. And it really does help out the videos and the channel a lot. So I do appreciate it if you could share the video as well. Okay, so during our travels to many of the different Marriott Vacation Club resorts, we've mainly been to the ones here in Orange County, Florida. But we were also at Ocean Point, which is in Palm Beach County. And they, in fact, both have mask mandates. So that's kind of the one thing you'll notice when you go into the lobby. Plenty of signage about social distancing and wearing a mask in, at least inside the lobby. They also do mention about wearing masks in all public spaces, but you really don't see that around the resort at the pools or anything like that. I think I've seen in all of the resorts we've been to, one person with a mask at the pool. So it's kind of hard to swim with a mask, and it's, well, I guess it's easy to swim with a mask. It's hard to keep it dry possibly, but I don't have a mask on here because, as you can see, I'm pretty socially distanced. They are big on, obviously, wearing a mask when you go into the lobby, when you go into any of the shops, anything like that, indoors, check in, check out. Not too sure about the gym because I don't use the gym, at least not anymore. And yeah, so that's kind of the main one. Another one is they have quite a bit of signage everywhere about social distancing. One of the visible things you'll actually notice when you're around the resort is the signage on all of the elevators, one person per elevator, or members of the same family at least. And people seem to be respecting that pretty well. The resorts are fairly low occupancy, so there's really no issues with the elevators. We'll get into occupancy here in a minute. But yeah, lots of signage, and wear those masks. Now the next one here is about occupancy. Now obviously global and even domestic travel is way down in 2020 because of the global pandemic, and because of that, occupancy here at these resorts is also way down as well. Nice beautiful palm tree here beside me. But yeah, so one thing that they're doing that I don't know that it makes financial sense, but from a social distancing standpoint, it doesn't make practical sense. But you can essentially see behind me, there are 4 buildings here at Marriott's Harbor Lake. Maybe it's 3 actually, 3 buildings. And it looks like they pretty much just have them completely closed. Maybe there's a couple villas occupied, but for the most part, these buildings are all closed. But the buildings that we're in, 28, 29, 30, and 31, let me actually confirm that. Yep, those buildings are pretty packed. So from a social distancing standpoint, I don't know, when they're also expecting only one person per elevator or members of the same family, it doesn't really make sense to pack everybody into just a few buildings at the resorts. They did this at Grand Vista as well, and if you want to see a video on that one, that was a pretty popular video. You can check it out by clicking on the little info card here in the upper right as well. But yeah, a lot of closed buildings there. Obviously a number of closed buildings here as well. And it just doesn't seem to make practical sense if you're wanting people to social distance. They're all having to come in and out of the same walkways, use the same elevators, when you could spread them out throughout the resort. So it's good from a financial sense, just not so much from a practical sense, I guess. And they have been doing updates on those buildings that are closed, at least over at Grand Vista. Not seeing any real construction going on here. But yeah, that's just in my thoughts. They could be spreading people around a little bit more, so they're not all having to use the same elevators. Okay, so here I am now. I'm over on the south side of the property. Not a single person to be seen. I had something biting me. Anyway. Ouch, that hurt.
Johnny, that really hurt.
Got a nice little view behind me of the lake with some kind of trees lining the lake here. Sitting on one of these little swings that they have. So just wanted to kind of go over one of the main things I've noticed here during the pandemic at Marriott Vacation Club properties, the cleaning. Now, some resorts are doing this better than others, but whenever we've checked in, we've always been able to check in right away to our unit, and I expect that that's probably because they've left the villa empty, because essentially occupancy is very low, and they've left the villas empty probably at least for a day, maybe more, I'm not too sure. But we've been able to check in pretty much right away because the villa was already cleaned at least a day prior. The villas at the Marriott properties have always been spotless, and now is of course no exception. They are immaculately clean, definitely always in good condition. And yeah, so another thing though, even around the resort, I've seen quite a few people, staff, walking around cleaning the pool chairs after people leave, or kind of just periodically. At Ocean Point, they were cleaning pool chairs, seen them cleaning railings, seen them cleaning tables, chairs, other things just around the resorts in general. I haven't seen them cleaning other things such as gate locks and other things such as like that, which are kind of like those high touch areas, but it's quite possible they have. Definitely have seen cleaning staff going around with spray bottles and cloths wiping down a lot of things. So that is definitely a good thing as well. So at all of the resorts we've stayed at recently, the Marriott Vacation Club resorts, occupancy has been anywhere from about maybe in the 40% range all the way up to maybe 68%. So here at Harbor Lake, when we checked in, they said that occupancy was, I believe, 48% this week. And Ocean Point, Marriott's Ocean Point, down in West Palm Beach, Singer Island, was, I think they said about 68% when we checked in there. So occupancy is obviously quite low during these times as well. All right, one other thing that we've been noticing at resorts is pool closures. So we haven't noticed this, I guess, specifically at Marriott Vacation Club resorts, but we did notice it at Vistana, and it was in fact the case before we arrived at some of these resorts, where they actually had pool closures where specific pools were completely shut down. And again, kind of like the buildings, they're essentially forcing people to congregate in essentially fewer areas. Fewer people congregating obviously in fewer areas, still not busy by any means. And some resorts, socially distancing was actually still quite easy, but just something else to kind of, you know, kind of perplexing. Why make people congregate in fewer areas, smaller areas, when you could spread them out? Now, if you want to get a kind of full update of what's open, what's closed at certain resorts, whether the grills are closed, the grills are open, if pools are open, pools are closed, I will put a link in the description box below to Marriott Vacation Club's actual resort update page, where you can search for the resort and see what's open, what's closed. I will tell you that is not always 100% accurate, and it will say, hey, the pools are open, but that doesn't mean all the pools are open. It'll say the grills are open, but it doesn't mean they're all open. They may have certain ones in certain areas closed, and something that probably does make sense, they are kind of closing every other grill, or they only maybe have 2 in a grilling cluster that are open, just to kind of spread people out a little bit more. So that kind of does make some sense. Okay, so there you have it. Just an update on what I think of Marriott Vacation Club's response to the global pandemic. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you want to see another video about Marriott's Grand Vista, check the description box below and what to watch next, or check out this video up here. YouTube, they also think you'll like this video right down here. Don't forget to subscribe. You can do so by clicking on my picture right here, and also hit that notification bell. And until next time, let's make your next destination a timeshare.